So there's been lobby issues, so we will be getting those sorted, and we'll have qualifying in just a few moments. So stick with the stream, and this will be cropped on YouTube to at least cut out most of the intro time. Hello YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. Welcome to the live coverage of the Extreme World Racing League's Formula 1 Season 5, Round 7 of 22. I'm Emerson Arden, and we're here tonight at the virtual Parc Jean Drapeau, Montreal, Quebec, Canada, for the Canadian Grand Prix. Opening in 1978, the man-made island hosted Formula 1 right from the beginning. Hometown hero Gilles Villeneuve won for Ferrari in the opening Grand Prix, and after passing away in 1982, it was decided for the circuit to be named after him. The circuit has also been a prime opportunity for NASCAR and sports car racing ventures until 2012, and this race also belongs to the record longest Formula 1 Grand Prix ever at just over 4 hours in 2011. With hopes that tonight's event doesn't venture into that territory tonight, these drivers will be tasked at keeping these high horsepower nimble beasts in between a high-speed circuit with walls on both sides, and most notably, the drivers will want to avoid Valhalla champions, where fittingly, a slew of Formula 1 champions have ended Grand Prix in the famous final corner, with the likes of Jacques Villeneuve, Michael Schumacher, Damon Hill, Jenson Button, and Sebastian Vettel. So along with Ben, Dan, and Hector, all the other drivers tonight will be looking to avoid it there as we kick off the qualifying action. So with here 15 and a half minutes remaining, we have a Williams heading down the straight. Freddie looks to be just starting his first timed lap. No, that's not Freddie, that is Charles. Charles will be coming around and starting the first timed lap of the session. I'll have the racing point behind him, and which racing for that? It would be Jesse. Already? The hometown hero Jesse's having a little bit of trouble. He's not having the time of his life in the rain. Oh yeah. Yeah, that is true. I looked at it today, and the last two EWRL F1 Grand Prix, Jesse is wrecked out on lap 1 and the last 2. And that being said, that means he has not completed an EWRL F1 lap since October 18th. It is now November 22nd. Unforeseen. Yeah, we'll see if Jesse can make it through lap 1 today. This is not the circuit to be trying to break a record like that. Anyway, coming around as Jesse heads back into the pit lane. Charles has invalidated his first lap, so I have a McLaren go top of the charts. It's Caden, a 120.683 for the McLaren. Next, we'll have an AlphaTauri coming through with final chicane. It'll be many things going top of the charts, a 120.313. Next, we'll have looks like a Ferrari coming in. No, that's Hector going top of the charts, a 119.851. Now we'll have a Ferrari coming through. Is that that'll be Troy at the line? Looks like he's starting a timed lap, actually, and we'll have his teammate, TK, also starting a timed lap this time. How about the Mercedes of Neil? I believe Neil is on a flyer. Yep, here he comes through the final chicane of nearly avoiding that wall of champions. Neil, all horses, all cylinders. He gets the second on the chart, a 120.027. Next, we'll have an Alfa Romeo coming round. That'd be Risky coming round, and it was an invalid lap anyway. Next, we'll have a Williams heading down the back straight. That's Charles on a second timed lap. It's also invalid. So he'll be heading back into the pit lane. And I think that's a timed lap action we're going to get until the Ferraris come around. So we'll have Troy, then TK. Well, TK is, yeah, not having the time of his life. But we'll have Troy on our screen. Hector goes even faster, and Troy nearly into the barrier. But Troy will come to the start-finish line. He'll go 4th quickest. That mistake in the final chicane really costed him some lap time there. And if any of the drivers are able to, please send TK invites. That did not sound good. Risky on another invalid lap. We'll catch up with the Renaults who are coming around to start a timed lap. And we have a racing point of Robert on a flyer. Let's see. Who else is out there? The Haas of Colton is on an invalid flyer. And now Robert's on an invalid lap. It's looking rough for these drivers tonight. Let's see. Last time we were here at Canada, we had, what, 4 or 5 safety cars. I mean, it was rough. We had maybe 2 or 3 actual safety cars to be deployed and a couple more VSCs. It was a wicked race and a final lap that featured 4 cars. Nose to tail double wide through the first half of the final lap. Ended up, I believe, Ben going on to win that race. With Troy Salter breathing down his neck. Or was it Pillar? I believe Pillars was actually there in second. Troy and Hector got into it. Hector ended up nose first into a barrier. Finished deep down the running order in 8th. Meanwhile, we had Troy Salter come home in 3rd. So we're still waiting for a valid lap time to come across the line. Looks like we'll have a Renault. A Ben goes 6th quickest. Hey, I mean, at that point, at least it's a valid lap. We'll have a Racing Point come around. That's Jesse going valid. 7th quickest. When valid is a storyline, that's definitely something. David coming around. He's on an invalid flyer and into the pit lane. Catch up with the Renault brother of Dan, heading through the final corner. Oh, it's invalid. Oh man, on the final corner too. Many things coming around, and the McLaren heading to the pit lane. Will have the Racing Point Robert getting an invalid flyer as well. We'll have the Williams come around. This is Freddie coming into the final chicane. There is 9 minutes remaining here in qualifying. There is no rounds qualifying today, just due to the issues and the driver count. Just decided to wait it out a little bit. Got a 16th driver, and all 16 will get the same amount of time in qualifying. There's a Haas round in turn 7. And Ben has now gone second quickest, a 1:19.842. Many things fared. Neil fourth. Charles got a valid lap in fifth, a 1:20.288. And it's Troy, Caden, Jesse, and Jeremy right now the top 9 and the only 9 to get a valid lap time in. And Dan, another invalid lap. Actually, this lap might just have already been invalid. And this would have been a cooldown lap, or a warm-up lap, as he'll go at it again. Here, no, it's still invalid. Let's see who's coming around. We'll have a Ferrari coming around. That's TK on an out lap. Troy coming around on the front straight. And Robert went 8th. So that puts 10 times on the board. There's a Haas in the Senna S. That's Colton on a flyer. I mean, Ben is in the green. He's getting closer. He's gone a 19.4. Might have to come back in and give it another go on another set of tires, or he might continue on this set. We'll see. Another time has gone on the board. Looks like it is Freddie going 10th quickest, a 1:21.489. Here comes Colton. Colton right now, he's got to make it through the chicane. And he makes it through valid. Can he get to the line now? Where is Colton going to end up? It'll be 11th out of 12, a 1:21.596 for the Haas driver. Let's see who else is out there. TK's invalidated his lap. Dan is on the backside of the course in Sector 2. David down in Sector 1. Adrian still in the garage. I mean, honestly, it might be the best move to not even go on the grid and let the mayhem happen in front of him and gain like 6 free positions in turn 1. So, I'm thinking Adrian may not even want to qualify at this point. And here comes Dan to the start-finish line. Where will the Renault brothers line up? And right now, Dan goes 9th, a 1:21.161. In the Renault, and he's already invalidated his next lap, but that doesn't even matter, I don't think, to him. Catch up with David, who's invalidated his lap. We'll catch up with TK now in Sector 2. He's coming through 8 and 9 now. On his way down to the hairpin turn 10. That was me. Here we go, onto Casino Straight. All those prancing horses running at full power down the Casino Straight as we head down chicane here, 13 and 14. TK fast in the wet condition. He will go top of the charts, a 1:19.151. What a lap. What a run for the Ferrari, and he's not done yet. He says he can go even faster. Here comes David on an invalid flyer. And into the pit lane. So as far as new lap times, we're not going to get a new lap time or a new driver on the chart for a bit. But we have drivers coming around. How about the Haas of Colton coming down to start finish straight? Can he improve? He does improve to 11th. How about the Red Bull of Hector to the start finish line, top of the charts, a 1:19.024 for the Red Bull driver, our defending series champ. As Mercedes is heading back onto the track, that is Neil. There's, I think, that's Troy heading into the pit lane. There is an Alpha Tauri heading into the pit lane, and a McLaren coming down to Casino Straight. Now that's Caden. It's not looking like a good lap. And he's into the pit lane as well. Catch up with the Alfa Romeo of Jeremy, who I don't think has a front wing anymore. Oh no, part of it's on there somehow. Let's see. And Neil's right behind Hector on his outlap. We'll see. Neil's on his outlap, Hector on an in lap or a second lap. I think Hector's going for it. No, I don't know. I don't think Hector's I think in ERS management mode to go for it. Now into the pit lane. That's what he's going for. We'll catch up with Neil, though, coming around to start another flyer with 2 minutes remaining here on the man-made island in Montreal. Man, the French locations in Canada, if you can pronounce them right. I doubt I'm pronouncing them right. And Neil has invalidated his lap. Must be so much fun to say. Let's see. Well, yeah, when you can say them. I'm sure I'm mispronouncing them, and if Troy Salter was here, he'd be giving me a hour-long tangent on how to pronounce Villeneuve. You see, that's how us Americans say it, but that was not satisfactory for the New Zealander. Villeneuve. So Charles is on an invalid lap. Colton into the pit lane. Robert invalid. Dan! Oh, he's gone! He's gone off in turn 7. He keeps it straight, actually. But he was in the green. We're looking to improve there. And Jesse's on a flyer, and Colton has retired from the session from the menu. So Colton is locking in his 20.820. And Hector and TK in a battle, in a shootout for the pole position. And do not count out Ben. Or Troy or Neil, for that matter. Any of those top 5 drivers could take pole position in the waning seconds here in our short qualifying session in Montreal. TK starts his lap. Ben is on an invalid lap, so Ben will not be going for pole. Troy is on a valid lap as he heads down the Casino Straight. Neil has retired from the session, so Troy is the only other likely party. It's looking very good for Ferrari. Coming through On the final corner, his lap has been invalid, and it would not have put him pole. It would not have improved this position, but it still hurts. And TK has retired from the menu. And unless somebody from further down the running order can prove me wrong, and I'll leave that open-ended statement for a bit. Unlikely, but actually looks like Ben's on another lap. But it's invalid as well. And Troy. So David, though, trending in the red. And then it's invalid. Can Jesse, the Canadian, the home Grand Prix driver, to the finish line. He will stay 10th. And Hector will be on the pole position at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And Hector, can he improve upon his time? His session's already locked up in terms of position, but Hector goes even faster, a 1:18.9. Oh, man. But there is the qualifying results. Hector just wanted to make the margin look a little bit better. He'll take pole, nearly 2/10 over TK, then Ben, and the Ferrari teammates, 2nd and 4th. So it's looking like a great day for Ferrari, and AlphaTauri finally has a second driver worth noting. And it is ahead of many things. So yeah, but how many points did you? But that's your. And many things needs a chiropractor over there at AlphaTauri for carrying the team to what? Were they 4th, 5th on the constructors? Well, you know what? It's not too late to change it. We're not even a third of the way through the season yet. Oh, so Adrian did not put a time and is the lone driver to not set a time in qualifying. He will start from the rear of the grid in the 16th position. And I think Jeremy was down there in 15th. Well, we have a 35 lap event on hand tonight. Before we get that going, of course, we have the all-important formation lap where we will have our opportunity of going through the starting lineup in just one moment. And let's go through our starting lineup. And on row number 1, it'll be defending series champion in the Red Bull, Hector. And alongside of him, it'll be TK. The wet weather driver prevailed in the qualifying session, but can he stick it up here in the dry? Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. In row 2, we'll have the Renault of Ben, and alongside of him, the Ferrari of Troy. Row 3, the Mercedes of Neil, and alongside of him, one of the 2 AlphaTauris. David will be 6th. Row number 4 will have the second of the 2 AlphaTauris. 7th is Many Things, and alongside of him we'll have Caden. Row number 5 we'll have the Williams of Charles and the Racing Point of Jesse. Row number 6, we'll have the Hash driver of Colton, alongside of him the other Racing Point of Robert, row 7, the Renault driver of Dan, and alongside of him the Williams of Freddie. In making up the back row, it'll be Freddie in the Alfa Romeo. I'm sorry, Jeremy in the Alfa Romeo. And we'll have Adrian not setting a time. He'll be 16th on the grid, bookending the grid with Red Bulls to start the 35-lap event, the Canadian Grand Prix. So we get ready to roll. Once again, Hector getting another pull. TK, though, he was challenging hard. If he didn't mess up in turn 10, who knows? It might have been TK on the other side of this front row. But it's time to bring the action, and we've got 5 red lights. Or, you know, the game is glitched, so I have no idea how many lights they have. But it is lights out, and away we go. And it'll be TK actually getting the jump on Hector. TK is clear to the race, 3 wide behind, as there was a Mercedes sent from Neil, and around goes the McLaren of Caden, dropping down the running order to 16th quickly. TK continues his advantage out front, and it's a double Ferrari podium at the moment. Is a AlphaTauri, no, that's a Williams going around. That's Charles, who was being aggressive, and he's reset to the track right in the middle of traffic. We continue on here into 6, and there's a Haas and an AlphaTauri going at it. That's David and Colton. Colton goes a little wide in 7. They continue now. Colton under attack from the Renault driver of Dan, the 2-time series champ, sends it up to the inside of the Haas driver into turn 8, and now they single it out through 9, all the way down to the hairpin, turn number 10. It's double wide for the Mercedes and the AlphaTauri, and many things in Neil. Neil holding hard on the inside, but many things the power around the outside. And the Honda engine prevails over the Mercedes engine onto the Casino straight for P4. We continue to top 3, and TK's now near a second advantage as we come to complete lap 1. They got to make it through 13 and 14 of the chicane that holds the wall of champions. And looks like at least the top 6 make it through clean. And from there on, TK with the fastest lap to start the Grand Prix of a 1:16.475. And what an opening lap that was. And there's a Racing Point into the pit lane of Robert replacing a front wing along with Charles back there as well. And there's the strategy once again. 2-stop or a 1-stop. Now look. TK quickly under pressure from Hector. Hector did not get a good start whatsoever, but he is coming back and he is ready to duke it out with the Ferrari of TK. But if they duke it out too much, Troy could get into the mix and it could be 2 Ferraris on 1 Red Bull. To the chicane we go, as DRS is now available this lap. It won't be available until the back half of this course, but Hector goes a 1:12.1 on lap number 2. And he's now closed it down to 0.7 of a second across the last scoring loop. It is opened up to 0.8, as that gap will fluctuate across every scoring loop. Many things is solidly in the 4th, as Ben now puts on the pressure onto Neil for 5th, as Risky gets a 5-second speeding penalty for 5-second penalty for speeding into the pit lane. It'll be a stop go and will be served on his next stop. TK opened up to a 9-second advantage, even though Hector had DRS. It's now over a second as Hector had a terrible turn 9. And Drofta says, please just crash, Hector. And Michael Collier says, go on, Charles. Michael Cole? Well, you just vocalized it to everybody. But many things gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, as he's in a high-octane battle for the final podium spot. Many things really wants a podium. He has to clean up the way he takes every circuit, as Jesse goes 5 seconds to his time for speeding into the pit lane. It's not personal, but he's my teammate in an... It's not personal, but he's my teammate in another league and he bailed. Oh. Interesting. Right now, Hector just trying to get one EWRL F1 Canadian Grand Prix win as Robert goes with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Remember, Hector was involved in that 4-car battle, and he takes a 3-second time penalty trying to chase down TK. And so does Ben. By the end of the race, if everybody doesn't have a penalty flag next to their name via the last update, then I don't know what happened today. What's the tire details? Well, we can take a look at them right now. Actually, that was the wrong... Here's the details. And, of course, softs and mediums. Hector chose to start on the mediums and TK softs. So, Hector will take the race lead when TK does pit. But will it be enough to hold out to the end? Well, we'll see what strategy prevails. And, of course, that also, you know, would mean where does TK come out? Does it come out of fresh air or dirty air? But here comes Hector. Hector all over there through 6 and 7, and now onto the back part of the course. This is a DRS straight. Oh, what a beautiful camera view as Hector closes in on the Ferrari. 3-second time penalty for Colton. You're going to turn 10, and Hector's going to be all over TK on the casino straight. And at the 3-second time penalty for Charles. Here we go with the beautiful defense from TK, but will it be enough? Here comes Hector powering with the... Here comes TK into the pit lane. And, man, I don't know. This probably will have to be hard to the end, or I don't know what's going to happen here. But he does not speed, according, unlike David, who does... No, he gets a 3-second time penalty. Never mind, he does not speed. TK has to wait for a wing replacement. He puts on a set of mediums. Can mediums go 30 laps, or is he going to have to hope for a safety car? We'll see what happens, but because qualifying was in the wet, they do have an extra set of softs. Freddie goes with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and right now it's only Troy, Neil, Dan, Caden, Adrian, and TK without time penalties. As Jesse gets another 3-second. And now here's a battle here with Neil, Ben, and David. And Many Things is in this mix theoretically because Many Things has his 3-second time penalty. Little chicane we go. And Neil being very, very clean. Again, has yet to put a tire wrong in the first 6 laps of the Grand Prix today. Soft, medium, medium is the best Delta strat here, or medium, medium, soft. Well, looks like TK is going to have to go for soft, medium, soft to try to compensate for the extra seconds. He had to sit in the pit lane for wing repairs. Wing replacement. Oh, Ben pushing really, really hard, trying to stay up in front of David. David now pulls up alongside into 10, but Ben prevails for now. Oh, so close on the exit of turn 10. David, will he send it? He does send it into 13 as Ben hits the pit lane for wing damage. Now Neil, all over the gearbox of the AlphaTauri. Does he send it into the S? No, he does not. Of course, that's the Senna S. Oh, and Neil, I don't know if that was lag or he actually almost went around, but it looked like he was about to spin off of turn 2. Here comes Neil on many things. Side by side down a DRS straight. And Neil has DRS. Many things with the heavy defense. And they make contact. Many things almost into a tire barrier. And here comes teammate David. That's a questionable move, but we'll see about it post race anyway. But now David onto the bottom step of the podium for now. Neil holds on, and many things stays out as he loses time to Neil. And the pit window is open for mediums if you're going on that 2-stop strat. And now TK with the 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. As Freddie has now hit the pit lane. Catch up with Adrian, who started dead last on the grid, already up to halfway through the field in 9th. And now here comes Ben on Caden, killing for cash, gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings, and Ben just powers right on by V McLaren. Welcome to strict corner cutting. Drivers are having the time of their life. Here comes Ben on Adrian. Of course, Ben has a penalty. Adrian does not. And now down the casino straight we go. Adrian easily gets passed by Vireno. And now many things into the pit lane, replacing a front wing. Many wings going at it, and a 3-second time penalty for David. And now on the bottom step of the podium, and the driver ahead and the driver behind. 2 drivers behind don't have penalties, and David does. Neil now. Can he find a way back around the AlphaTauri to work lap 10 of 35? And now, what happened in the last Canadian Grand Prix here for the Extreme World Racing League? We had a clean first half of the race. It was the second half where we had 4 or 5 safety cars. So far, the story aligns, but we'll see what happens in the second half of this race. And it's about the time where tires start to wear out and drivers start to lose a little bit more control, and a single DNF could bring out a safety car as David hits the pit lane and gives the final podium spot back to Neil for now, as of course pit stops have to cycle out, but they're on separate strategies. Of course, the drivers on mediums will have to stay out longer anyway for their strategy to work. Ben stays out, he'll go 5th. And of the drivers in the top 5, we'll wait for David to see where he cycles out. And it's TK now in 5th on his mediums. But of the drivers in the top 5, 2nd through 4th, Troy, Neil, and Dan do not have time penalties. As I say that, Dan gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So make that only Troy and Neil. And there's half a wing on that Ferrari. In turn 7, something went awry for TK. And the outside pole setters race goes from bad to worse. Ben now takes another 3-second time penalty. As we approach the 1/3 mark of this race, so this is the 2nd wing replacement for our outside pole sitter. But Dan under attack from David. David into the gearbox of the Renault! They get back going. David, I think, just lets him hold on to the spot. And the front wing on the AlphaTauri does not look bad at all. And this battle for fourth keeps cooking. Looks like David's on 10 lap fresher medium, so he'll find a way around Dan at some point. Here he goes. He'll pull up alongside down the casino straight. And if David can complete the passes, Dan hits the pit lane, so he will. I think this is more of Dan just needs to get out of this battle before he makes any more contact. And I should say makes loosely. He really didn't make that contact. It looks like all was well. But Dan did catch it. It looked like all was well afterwards. So Ben was on hot pursuit of chasing down David, but Ben is on 3-lap older mediums to David's. Charles is still out there on 11-lap old softs. So this looks like Charles is trying to stretch it out as long as he can for a one-stopper. And so what, he'd go about 3 or 4 more laps and then pit for mediums to go to the end? If that's the plan, I guess that's what the medium drivers are doing. They're going to go about 18, 19, 20 laps and pit for softs. Just killing for cash. It's another 3-second time penalty. And here comes TK on Caden. Down to casino straight. No. What was that? Somebody's stream is playing in their background. But anyway, that was the weirdest that was the weirdest overtake I've seen ever. You know what, TK, he got it done. Not in the style he wanted, but he's around VAI. Neil into the pit lane from third. And racing out of pit exit, Neil goes off into the grass as David goes right on by. Here comes Ben. It goes at it for fourth. Ben will try to clear in front of Neil. Neil fights back hard. And another 3-second time penalty for Ben as Neil has no 3-second time penalty. He could still easily get the 2 drivers ahead of him. Are you telling me somebody took out the braking marker on the wall? How do you do that? I thought you meant like the braking boards on the fence. Like you have to get airborne for that. Oh. Those are small. Why are they even there? They're small. As Troy hits the pit lane from the second position, he'll fall back behind David, who's now second. And the caution in sector 3, but Troy with the pit exit gets out in front of David, barely. And now Neil on Ben. 7-lap pressure and softer tires as Dan goes fastest right now. A 1:11.718. Here comes Neil. He looks to the right side on Ben. Ben defends a little bit as they go into turn 8. Neil will back off and stay in line behind the Renault driver, but he desperately wants to find a way. And now Neil takes a 3-second time penalty. And now everybody besides Troy, Caden, and Adrian have time penalties. Wow, to call him out like that. At 11 seconds on the Racing Point driver of Jesse. On the Red Bull driver of Adrian. Oh, yeah, he's letting the leader through, but that lets Charles by as well. And now to pass for 4th. Neil got by Ben, but Ben fights back up the inside through the Senna S, and it looks like Neil will continue on. Wait, no, that's not the Senna S, huh? I mean, the Virage Senna. The Senna S is in Brazil, huh? So, well, I mean, what is turn 1 called then? Virage Senna? My track map is lying to me, Ben. Turns 1 and 2. Look, man, any S is a Senna S, I guess. At this point. And Dan with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And Hector is, I mean, he says he still has yet to pit, but has a 30.5-second advantage over Troy. Hector, of course, will have to pit, but that'll still be about a 20-second advantage when it's all said and done. I'm sorry, still will be about a 10-second advantage. But we're now into the second half of this race where things turned up last season, and Jeremy a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And there's a battle going on. Now there's 1 lap down. Robert on Adrian. And Adrian has to... So it finally looks like that the AlphaTauri Constructors total will be more than many things' point amount. Halfway through the Grand Prix and another 3-second time penalty for David. Coming round to 16 laps remaining in the Grand Prix as we'll find Hector coming through the final corner. And let's give our at the start finish now into turn 1 now. He still has to pit, but at this point he's definitely pitting for soft, probably at the end of this lap or the next. I mean, so what's the penalty for not choosing a second compound? Is it a 30-second penalty? Oh, disqualified, okay. I'm like, 30 seconds? He could probably outdo that. Oh, and somebody's gone round. That's a Ferrari gone round. And now it begins. Is that Troy? Oh no, that's an Alfa Romeo. That's Jeremy. And he's hurt many things. And he has now retired from the menu. Oh, I've seen menu retirements bring out a safety car. I've also seen safety cars for torrential rain in F1 2017 Malaysia. And that is going to do it for Jeremy. Today will not be the day he gets points. He really is trying to match Venti for starts without points. Hey, at least Venti's not alone. You're being very optimistic by saying when and not if. Here comes the battle for sixth. Colton just blows right on by many things like he's not even there. Many things trying to come back though with the DRS. Wait, he didn't even get DRS. Oh, what is many things doing? He holds on. Sorry, force a habit. Hey, all I'm hearing is that it's paid back from Japan. They're now 1-1. Okay, and this contact didn't affect you. The race leader Hector is in the pit lane. He's coming off the pit lane now as Troy is heading out of Casino Straight. Hector's now leaving pit exit. There's a caution in sector 3. That's a Williams around. That's Freddie who's gone around, and Hector comes out with a, let's see where the timing resets him at, 8.5 second advantage over Troy. So as Hector comes through turn 7. David into the pit lane. And a 3-second time penalty for TK for multiple warnings. As Dan hits the pit lane. And Robert with a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. As Charles goes to P9, Jesse to 10th. Dan on the pit exit though, will be racing Jesse. Did he cross the white line though? Looks like he was okay. It looked close, but Dan does hold on to 10th. Troy with a 3-second time penalty. And now everybody in the field has a time penalty besides Adrian. No, Neil has a time penalty. Everybody in the field has gotten some sort of penalty today except Adrian. And Caden. Caden does not either. My apologies, Caden. Oh. My apology, AI. Alright, Adrian. Don't let us down. Lap 24:35 here. It's 10 and a half, nearing 11 seconds. The advantage up front, and it's been green the entire time to the first 24. The battle picks up for fifth though. Ben with a second advantage over many things and Colton, and then Dan is also closing up on Charles as Hector goes fastest with a 1:11.344. Well, when you think about tire wear, as many things thinks you can take those tires today, and you also have to think as tires get more worn, they wear out even more per lap. Because you're sliding the car more. Here comes Colton for sixth. Still waiting to hear what's wrong about that as Jesse's in the pit lane. And it's a 1:11.206 for the Red Bull driver, or defending series champ Hector. And Hector, with now as Troy hits the pit lane, that advantage continues to gain for Hector. It's going to be upwards of 30 seconds by the time Troy's up to race pace. Here comes Neil for second. Racing on a pit exit. Neil will take second comfortably over Troy. Not even close. David looking to take the bottom step at a podium, but he'll be racing Troy on pit exit. Troy takes it. And now Neil, 28.5 seconds behind race leader Hector. And Troy will be on fresh thoughts, trying to chase down Neil. Into the pit lane goes Colton and many things. So that battle for, we'll see where they come out, but the battle for that position will continue. And looks like they'll be racing for ninth. And they might be able to get eighth as Charles is still out there on 12 lap old mediums. And it's even faster. It's a 1:10.985 for the race leader and defending series champ. Colton with a 3-second time penalty to add spice to that battle for ninth. You know what? This is a video game, and unrealistic things can't happen in video games. As Neil takes another 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. And David takes a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. David just doesn't want to finish in the top 5. Well, he's not acting like it, at least. So Adrian, the last driver to not have a time penalty. The last actual driver to not have a time penalty in the race. As Charles hits the pit lane. And that makes that battle between Colton and many things for P8. Looks like those two can never be separated. Hector goes even faster, a 1:10.841. Man is shaving a 10th off a lap per lap. He's now up to 30 seconds, the advantage over Neil. And we come round to 7 laps to go. Next time by the finish line. For the defending series champ, seeking some redemption from last year's Canadian Grand Prix. And his famous Spinala in turn 7. Had a 4-car battle on that final lap. And everybody was pushing their heart out. Himself, Troy Salter, Ben, and Pillars. Ben ended up taking that race. Hector goes even faster, a 110.727. Not with Hector in the lobby. Not even close. He's 6/10 quicker than many things. 111.3. 32 seconds his advantage over Neil now. And the closest battle on track is Many Things and Colton. TK on 16 lap with hearts. And a 3-second time penalty for Robert for multiple warnings. So, some news that I'm sure the drivers and the fans may have been wanting to hear, maybe not, maybe they don't care at all. But Foursquare looks to be rejoining us in the next Grand Prix in 2 weeks' time in Russia. Hopefully he'll be back. Of course, the newlywed and just moved and many other things has, taken over his life the past few weeks, months. And yeah, finally settling down, and it's going to have some time to join us for a couple hours on a video game Sunday nights. And if you get the fastest lap, in order to get that point, you have to finish in the top 10 in points, or top 10 in the results. I don't feel like doing the math right now, but I would assume so. Fair enough. Hector comes off the final corner with 5 laps left in the Canadian Grand Prix. Now, what a drive from Hector after getting a terrible launch off the grid, giving TK just a few complimentary laps led at the beginning. He overtook TK on lap 3, and it was on from there. And TK just took a 3-second time penalty as Ben is in the pit lane going for fastest lap. So this battle that has TK and Dan, possibly Many Things in Colton, is also going to have Ben going for fastest lap. Racing brother Ben on pit exit. Well, here comes Ben. He wants to go for fastest lap. Did Hector just pit? Hector just pit for fresh tires, and he went a 110.301. Well, no, he pitted before Ben pitted. I just didn't realize he pitted because he was so far out in front. But I should have known when Hector's gap over Neil dropped from 32 seconds to 16 seconds. That something happened. Here goes Ben. Well, right on board with Ben. The defending Canadian Grand Prix winner. Looking like a long shot to win today's Canadian Grand Prix. And now TK hits the pit lane. Here goes Ben. And TK wants to go for fastest lap. And or just needed another set of tires to make it to the end. And here comes Ben. as we wrap up Sector 1 into Turn 6. You know, and with that, you do risk, you know, taking damage and risk. Ben a little deep into turn 10, but all is well. Purple Sector 2 for Ben. I did not see a purple Sector 1. Maybe I was not looking to. But down to Casino Straight. Here comes Ben to the finish line. Will Ben take fastest lap? He will. The 109.920. But it's not over yet because TK's out there trying. No, I know, but TK is coming around to start his attempt at going for fastest lap right now. Also trying to chase down Colton. So kind of a double advantage for TK for going for fastest lap here. And there's a caution in Sector 3 and Freddy's retired. Well, we're on 2 laps to go. If a safety car happened now, the race would be over. And oh, the right rear tire. Never mind, that was just a glitch. But oh my goodness. The Wall of Champions has caught out Freddy 2 years in a row. Here comes Hector, though. Rounding the back part of this course. Watch TK as he comes into turn 10 as he catches both Colton and many things. He's looking to fly by both of them. Oh, and he'll have Slipstream and DRS. No DRS, just Slipstream though. It's a Slipstream DRS fest down the Casino Stretch. As many things that Colton go at it now. The Slipstream for TK to the line. No. Oh, in contact. 3 wide. It is a wicked battle for 7th as Neil is closing in on Troy. The final lap has begun here at Canada, and Neil's trying to take 2nd. They continue to duke it out for 7th. Manythings holds on to 7th over Colton and hot TK on fresh softs. TK will send it. Can he get a 2-for-1 special? No, he'll take 1. Ben a 3-second time penalty. Somebody else got one, but I couldn't see it. There's so much going on right now. Here comes TK. Can he clear many things? And he'll have maybe one last shot at fastest lap. He'll be battling many things into the corner. He'll get around many things. And a 3-second time penalty for Colton. And now TK will try to go for fastest lap one more time if he even has a shot with those tires. Here comes Neil on Troy. They're coming around, but Hector will win the Canadian Grand Prix. It'll be his 5th win on the season. The battle for 2nd. Here comes Neil. DRS. Slipstream. Full ERS. The Mercedes on the Ferrari down to Casino Straight for the final time. Diving down the inside. Neil peaks. He can't get there. What's the time penalty count? Off the final corner. Here comes Neil. It's going to be side by side for 2nd. It'll be Neil 2nd, but time penalties puts Troy 2nd. David and Ben. Never mind. They're not battling, but David comes home 4th. Ben comes off the final chicane for 5th. We'll keep an eye on this battle back here. Ben will come home 5th. Dan comes through the final chicane, looking to take 6th. And Dan will cross in 6th. Now TK, how many penalties does he have to the next group? And many things has to defend against Colton. TK gets 7th for now. Many things go 7th. Oh, and somebody shot up the charts. Somebody just got several positions. Did Dan just overtook Did Dan just take all of those positions on penalties? Well, we'll take a look at the penalties and we'll confirm it in review, but I think Dan just shot up the results table. Okay. It's okay. The same thing happened at Japan. All right. We'll look at it. It will be corrected if there is some sort of. Okay, it was Charles. We'll take a look at the results there and to the NS at the. Take a look at the race director's incidents. My goodness, I got a book. I don't even know. I'll be looking at this. Oh, did he? He only had one. He only had one penalty. Oh, so Charles did shoot up a lot of spots. Wow. Well, anyway, we have a podium. I forgot the podium, honestly. I know it was Hector and oh no, it was Neil. It was Neil and Troy. I forget which order. I think Troy took second, Neil third. And so, give me 1 second. 1 second as we get interviews lined up. Do not go away. All right, welcome back here into post-race coverage of the EWRL F1 Season 5 Canadian Grand Prix. And we're standing by with our podium finishes, and we'll go in reverse order. As usual here, maybe not usual for every place. I don't know. I like going in reverse order. Kind of keeps you in suspense for the winner's emotions. But, I mean, with the gap that he had, I don't know. We'll talk to Neil, though, first. Did Neil talk about that final lap battle with Troy? That looked intense.
Yeah, I had damage on my wing, and I had like I think 6 seconds more time penalty than Troy. So I gave him the spot, and I think his tires are going towards there. So I think if I had no damage, and maybe if I had a 6-second time penalty, maybe I could have stayed in second. But it was a good race, not one of my favorite tracks. So yeah, happy with the third place.
Yeah, for sure. And I figured even if you didn't have the amount of, or even if you had too many time penalties to actually have this position, I figured it still would have, you were just battling it out for fun, really. But,
yeah, it was just for fun. Make it interesting.
Talk about the start and then how you kind of settled in, because from there it was all about. But talk about your race start.
Yeah, I think Troy and I started on medium, so it was going to be tricky for us to get off the line with the soft guys around us. That's why I think Hector lost a position in the first lap. Hard to get off the line, but I think I made a decent start. I think I got in front of Ben, and then, but Troy, Ben, and myself, we're almost on the same pace. So position is key in this track because of the dirty air and all that. So it's kind of nice
For sure.
that I had a good start.
So as we wrap up here in Canada, we take next week off as it's Thanksgiving here in the States, and I'm not entirely sure how much world reach Thanksgiving has, but I know it's for sure here in the States, so we'll take the week off. But next week, or well, in 2 weeks' time, we'll be having our Russian Grand Prix. So how do you feel about Sochi?
Yeah, quite decent around there. I don't think I'm as fast as Hector or thing, but I think it'll be Troy, Ben, and myself fighting again, always. So looking forward to that.
Fair enough. Well, congratulations on the third place finish, and yeah, best luck to you in 2 weeks' time at Sochi.
Yeah. Thanks, Emerson. Bye.
And now we're joined with second place finisher, driver of the Ferrari, and Troy. Talk about that final lap. What's going through your mind?
Yeah, I knew Neil had penalties, but I appreciated the battle he brought to me, so I had a bit of fun towards the end of the race. So it was good. It was a good second place as well.
All right, so pretty similar stock question. Talk about the start from your point of view and how you kind of prevailed from the start.
Yeah, I got a solid start. I did get the best, but there were people around me who got a bit worse starts than me. Yeah, me and Neil had similar starts to each other, and Ben, I think it was, had a little bit worse start, and he got jumped by me and Neil and someone else, maybe, I don't remember. But yeah, I was happy, and yeah, I was just happy staying in top 3 for a while, and then Tiki had his wing damage or whatever it was, which was pretty unfortunate, which, yeah, well, that made my second place a bit more secure. So it was good from my point of view, but a bit worse for the team.
Fair enough. Was there anything you saw from, I don't know how close you were to TK when it happened, but from what you saw, was there anything that maybe he did different that kind of led to that, or was it just maybe he was under pressure from Hector?
No, I saw nothing, to be honest.
Okay.
They had a couple of seconds, like there were a couple of seconds between me and Hector, and then there were a couple of seconds between the two of them as well, so I couldn't have seen anything. I just heard him tell me that, or tell all of us that.
Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, we wrap up here in Canada. 2 weeks' time, we head to Sochi. How do you feel about Russia?
I like Russia. I think it's quite a boring track, but I think it's pretty easy to drive around there, and I think I should be able to get at least a podium there, depending on who's driving or not. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Hey, fair enough. So congratulations on your second place finish today. A wild little final lap battle there with Neil, and best luck to you 2 weeks' time in Sochi.
Thank you.
And our defending series champion, and maybe a little bit of redemption from last year's Canada race. Hector, how you feeling?
Not too bad. Unfortunately, I didn't have any of the sweaty boys here to kind of, to keep it PG-13, harass me throughout the race. But otherwise, just standard stuff.
Fair enough. Did anything from last year's race kind of go through your mind, like, oh, what if we get a slew of safety cars? What if this, and this happens throughout the race? Was that ever on your mind, or were you just in your own little world after the first few laps?
Nothing came to mind. I was just afraid of, just the safety car. Besides that, I knew I absolutely could not repeat the mistake of last year of spinning just to try and get a fastest lap. But besides that, nothing else besides the safety car. And of course, last year's learnings, one of a few learnings that came to mind. But besides that, nothing. Just to try to stay consistent, keep it on track and out of the wall, because it's easy to get into the wall and it's easy to invalidate or get time penalties, which I think everybody did. So, including myself, it was between the dirty air of me and TK at the beginning. So
yeah, for sure. So off the beginning, you started on pole, but you got not so great of a launch off the grid. What kind of happened there? And then talk about having to chase down TK until his eventual mistake.
The only thing that really happened was I had my tires warmed up well, but I don't think I got the launch right because I don't tend to practice race starts, and every track is different on race starts in the tire compound. So Canada is a little bit more tricky, but usually I don't have much of a problem starting on a harder tire for the race start. So, but maybe that's partially down to my reaction time. I find the very initial start to be decent because of like general tire temperature, but the rest of the grip, like throughout the rest of the portion of that start, isn't very good, and that's exactly what happened here. Had really good initial grip, but besides that, nothing else in the second phase of the start. So that's why I was jumped by TK and nearly swamped, but luckily I was able to keep it there.
And fair enough. And your really only battle for position all day ended pretty quickly. What did you see from your point of view? Maybe that TK did wrong, or do you think maybe just pressure got to him, or do you think it was maybe the tire conditions like you were talking about?
I really don't know. It might have been pressure. You don't know how the specific person works necessarily, but I hope it's not pressure because in order to be able to get decent results, you have to just ignore the pressure that's there, which sounds pretty stupid to say, but yeah. Besides that, I think he could have just relaxed a little bit. He was on the softer compound, and if he just if he didn't overdrive the car, he would have been a little bit better off. Which I think that might have been his problem, was overdriving. But besides that, I knew I was going to be able to get past him eventually. I just didn't think it was going to be that early. I was making mistakes myself, so yeah, the car it was a decent setup, but it wasn't the best. So.
Well, it was good enough to win the race here at Canada, and next week is Thanksgiving, so we'll have it off, and then 2 weeks time we head to Sochi. How do you feel about Russia?
Hopefully I don't have a random Haas in my pit entry, but yeah, I like Russia a lot actually. If I can get the setup right, then I'll enjoy it a little bit more. I like the flow. I can't say I like the flow of the track, but the way that you can swing the car in certain corners is actually nice. Beside the track itself being as stale as white bread, but yeah. Hopefully I can get a decent result there. It's not a track I hate, but it's not a track I love either. So yeah.
Hey, well, fair enough. Congratulations on your 5th win on the season, and I finally got around to updating the wins list earlier today, and you are now you broke the tie that you had with several drivers. I think it was 6 on the wins list now. I think I'll look at it right now. 2, 4, 7. You're 7th on the wins list now. 1 win behind Troy Salter. How do you feel about that? Any is that a goal for you since you actually did race against Troy for a little bit?
My goal isn't the overall wins list, so I only have my eye set on Ben. So
fair enough.
He had his era of shameless stat padding, and now I will too.
A lot of drivers did. Everybody at the top of the wins list had their own little era, except for me. I just kind of got wins here and there, but it's not about me. Anyway. But anyway, congratulations on your win here at the Canadian Grand Prix, and best luck to you in 2 weeks' time at Sochi.
Thank you.
And yeah, what a wild final ending there in terms of the battles for positions all throughout the field. The battle for second was insane, and the battle that we really didn't know what position that battle was going to end up being, and I think Charles took 6th or 7th out of that. That was absolutely insane. Just the time penalties coming into play with so many drivers. The midfield battle, a little more spread out amongst the amount of drivers that actually had a shot at those positions, and that's just the beauty of racing with penalties and all, is that a cleaner driver that maybe is not as fast, but they kept it on track more, could shoot up the results just as Charles did, and he was rewarded for keeping it in between the white lines a little bit more. That being said, in 2 weeks' time we head to Sochi, and it's going to be pretty hard to avoid time penalties there. I am sure of it. The 90-degree corners, and it's just so inviting to cut corners at Sochi. But anyway, that's going to conclude coverage tonight for the Extreme World Racing League's Formula 1 Season 5 Canadian Grand Prix, and we'll resume coverage of the 5th season of Formula 1 action in 2 weeks' time with the EWRL F1 Season 5 Russian Grand Prix. Make sure you tune in Sunday, December 6th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 10:30 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. This has been Emerson Arlen on the call tonight. We will see you next time.